about how a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage does not mean that there is no problems, okay? And this is where I just want to really be very clear that so that you understand that it doesn't mean that y'all are not going to have misunderstandings. It doesn't mean that there won't be fallouts or anything like that. What matters the most is the foundation, all right, that y'all are standing on when those moments happen. So in Matthew 7, verses 24 through 25, the scripture talks about how a wise builder builds the house on a rock so that whenever the rain comes, the wind blows, whatever happens, the house still is standing. Okay? So, a godly relationship or a godly marriage in itself, I need you to understand that the problem is not the problem. How you handle the problem will literally decipher a lot of things. And the main thing that God desires that I've learned is you have to handle the problem without tearing each other down. If you feel like there are some people that fight and they say things because on the inside of them they're still broken, all right? And I've been in that position before where I would say things out of my mouth because of internal issues. And this is why I tell women all the time, do not lose yourself. Do not put your entire existence in this marriage or in your husband, because you are a person on your own. You got feelings, you got trauma that you need to work out between you and God, and maybe a therapist if that's needed. Okay, I have learned that in order to stay healthy, you need a strategy. You're gonna hear me say strategy a lot. I'm a strategist. In business and marriage and money, my community. I have a strategy for a lot of things because I am a firm believer that God is a God of order. Okay, doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but my foundation is figuring out, all right, how are we going to navigate this in a way that is not chaotic? So with you being in agreement with your spouse, you guys have to come into an agreement on how y'all are going to navigate things. Agreement does not always mean that y'all are going to see eye to eye. Agreement means that y'all are just going to make a decision to choose unity over division. However, at the core, you need God. All right, you need God. If there's issues between you and your spouse, this is why unconditional love has to be in the marriage. You have to have unconditional love. You have to literally practice grace, because you do not want to look at this person like they're your worst enemy because of the areas that they're falling short on. Marriage is not about you showing up perfectly, but making choices to make things work. So if he's falling short on something, then it's almost like you guys have to come together to figure out how are y'all going to work through this. Now, I will say this, everybody is different. This is for when you have a willing husband. This is not for you if right now you still praying your husband do some things. I'm talking about when your husband is willing, all right? You identify his weaknesses and you guys can come up with a plan on how he can navigate this thing, And sometimes it takes time. Some of it takes God. You know what I'm saying? It literally will take the Lord to work it out, while you just going to have to be like, okay, well, this is where we at until we wait on God. But it's also just making decisions on, even if it makes you uncomfortable, then you're still going to make a decision to be peaceful. It's not always about you. So if you're looking for comfort in something that God has put together, yeah, you're not going to always find it. Your comfort is in the will of God no matter what. You need to love to please God no matter what, okay? So another thing that I've learned, sometimes y'all have to pray y'all way through stuff. Sometimes the argument can be so heated and you pray and you think it's gonna be over. No, sometimes y'all have to pray again. All right. Sometimes y'all have to keep going to God about this issue and this conflict that y'all are having until that thing break. Because sometimes it could be based off of misunderstanding, But a healthy covenant, a healthy relationship, it doesn't mean that y'all don't go through anything. It just means that y'all are very strategic on how y'all overcome things. Okay. My biggest thing is including God in everything, and even if your spouse is not strong as you, I am a living witness that if you pursue God authentically, they will desire God the same way, because if they love you, then they're going to desire, the joy and the peace that you have as well for themselves. Okay. If you do not know, I have an ebook bundle that I am finishing up for those who are planning a wedding or even planning a wedding by faith with no man in sight. This ebook is going to give you an understanding when heaven plans your wedding. Also, prayers for when is that time, or when God is showing you that time is coming. So that ebook will be available very soon, probably before this week is out. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.